I'm here today at Furman's Bee Farm as an honorary beekeeper with Jackson Lehman. Today we're going to be talking about bee sustainability here on campus.
Here at the solar farm we manage 10 different hives where we aim to educate students about bees, the life cycle of bees, and the many important roles that they play in our lives.
Jackson has been beekeeping for 9 years and brought his love for this practice to Furman. He even started the Furman Bee Club.
We have about 50 members on campus and we meet once a week to do basic hive inspections. We produce about 100 pounds of honey a year.
Their goal next year is to be able to sell that honey in the Furman bookstore. Not only is the Bee Club a great way to get involved on campus, but Dr. Cohen explains they also have an effect on the environment.
So bees are an important pollinator and they play a role in the reproduction of plants. And so without bees on campus, I imagine our campus setting wouldn't be as attractive. You can also think about the role of bees in pollinating plants that produce fruits. So if you think about the Furman farm, I imagine there are crops there that are pollinated by insects. And so we want to maintain a healthy bee population so that we can continue to do things like grow food.
Clearly, bees have an important effect on the environment here on campus. For more ways that you can get involved, you can sign up for the Furman Bee Club, the Environmental Council, or the Furman Farm here on campus. I'm Lindsay Capps reporting for Nightly News. The Eco Fair had 30 local vendors that came onto campus, all selling sustainable goods such as stuffed animals or little pillows that are all handmade.
Jackson Lehman, president of the Furman Bee Club, was one of the vendors serving up honey at the event.
We're selling things from baked goods to our product, which is honey, to clothes and anything that you can think of. Most of the products today are going to be sold from people that have made them or have created them themselves. A lot of these products are going to be made with sustainable materials or using sustainable practices to make those products.
Items like these are not only adorable decor, but they are also sustainable for the environment.
One vendor at the Eco Fair seemed particularly passionate about her small business.
My name's Nicole and my small business is called Eco-Friendly Fits, and it's considered eco-friendly because it's actually upcycling. So what I do is I go to thrift stores, most of the time it's Goodwill, and I find unique pieces that are most of the time plain, and then I upcycle them by adding embroidery. So I embroider, it's just me and my needle and thread, it's no machine or anything, but here's an example of one.
The Environmental Council's Eco Fair was a huge success this year, bringing in lots of attention to sustainability programs here on campus. Reporting for Nightly News, I'm Lindsay Capps. Thanks, Elijah. Microfarming is a sustainable practice that is often overlooked, but it's here on campus. Dining hall manager Derek Morgan gives us more insight on this topic.
We use it to grow not just fresh herbs like basil, oregano, dill, fresh thyme, things like that, but also some microgreens and even some lettuces that a lot of our chefs use to garnish their dishes. So it's not necessarily about providing volume greens and herbs like that for the dining hall because we serve way too many students every day for that. It's more about having fresh herbs and, like I said, microgreens, things like that to help our chefs finish the dishes.
Not only do these greens have a functional purpose in the food that students eat daily, but they also have a positive impact on campus's sustainability.
One of the great things about having a microfarm in the dining hall is that those herbs can be transported right into the kitchen and end up in our food without them having to be transported from another state or even another country, because a lot of people don't realize there's so many emissions and externalities associated with transporting our food.
Even though these greens have a micro impact on sustainability worldwide, they are still great at encouraging people to be sustainable here on campus, however small that may be. Reporting for Nightly News, I'm Lindsay Capps. North Village is the place on campus where most crimes take place. Usually these crimes are targeted towards women. I talked to some of you about ways that you keep yourself safe and ways that people don't even realize.
Whenever I go on errands, specifically to the gas station, I get nervous, so I always am on the phone with somebody. It's usually my mom, just so she knows where I am and that I have somebody I'm speaking to. So if something were to happen, somebody knows where I am and knows that something went wrong.
To keep myself safe when I go to a store at night or something like that, I always park near a source of light, like a lamp post or the side of a store.
Every time I get in my car, that's the first thing I do. I lock my doors just to be safe. And I always check the back seat too, because there's been a lot of reports, especially from where I'm from Atlanta. Over the summer there were lots of reports of women being targeted because they're by themselves and having markings on their car, like white chalk marks, or having a zip tie on their door. So that's something I always check.
If there's a group of people that are walking in front of me, I will kind of try to stay close to them, just so I'll have, I'll be near other people and not walking alone. And if anyone is trying to follow me, hopefully it'll seem like I'm with them, even though I'm really not.
According to the CDC, over half of women have experienced sexual violence involving physical contact in their lifetime. These are not just numbers. We all have stories.
I was out one time with my friends and I was just wearing a normal top, but a guy came up to me and was telling me that my top looked a little small, but he liked it. And it made me very uncomfortable, and me and my friends left after that.
I think something that I deal with very regularly, and I think a lot of other women do as well, is the concept of catcalling, as what they call it now. Just walking down the street and someone commenting on what I'm wearing or what I look like, and just very misogynistic and judgmental, and it's just not something that I want to deal with in my everyday life, but I have to.
When I was 17, I was coming back from a day of canvassing for my internship, and I parked downtown like it was not a secluded spot, and I tend to think that I live in a really safe small town, and a much older man approached me and started to kind of hit on me and make comments about me and ask what I was doing, and it made me so uncomfortable because I just started doing things on my own, and to feel like I wasn't safe or protected just being on my own was really hard.
When I'm at home with my sister, I always try to take note of what she's wearing before she goes out, so that if anything does happen, I can have that in mind and let people know in case we need to look for her.
A lot of my personal experience with unwanted attention has been online. Just disgusting things that men say, or just a lot of unwanted sexual attention because of I am a woman and how I look.
There was one night where I was in an Uber. I was going from campus to downtown, and I was talking to my Uber driver, who was a man, and just making conversation, and he pulled out a knife and held it up behind him, towards where I was sitting, and I was so afraid. But I did have two guys in the Uber with me, and another girl. So because they were there, I felt a little bit more safe, but even still, it was pretty terrifying.
One time I was in high school with my friends, and we were at a gas station. We were at a QT, and we were just walking around, and this man who was shirtless, not wearing shoes, started just following us around and trying to talk to us. And we were 16 at the time, and we got super scared, and we tried to move away from him, and he would follow us and get near us. And eventually one of the store clerks talked to us and was like, hey, I noticed that this man has been following you. Are you guys okay? Do you feel safe? And we were like, yes, thank you. And so in that moment, we were really appreciative that someone else took notice that we were uncomfortable.
This uncomfortable feeling you may feel as you watch this documentary is what women deal with daily.
Although these women had great ways of protecting themselves, you also might want to consider taking one of Fubo's self-defense classes, because to stop crimes against women, it will take all of us to protect her. Another group facing harmful rhetoric are our Jewish brothers and sisters. Alyssa Hildenbrandt has that story.